there are not only the nations that you can see, there are also nations beneath the surface. And these are, of course, the releasable nations, such as, for example, Wales, which even has a completely unique achievement. So the question is, if you want to release and play as a nation, what is the most efficient and most beneficial way to do that? And I'm going to show you exactly that in this video today. So first of all, of course, you want to ruin your overlord's country, but not too much. Trust me, that's not too good, at least not yet at that moment. But yes, you can actually delete all of your troops and all of your navies, as well as all of the force, of course. So everything, literally everything that saves you money can actually go away. And then the estate stuff is actually very interesting because first of all, you actually want to take the monthly admin power. I'm going to talk about that in a second actually. But second of all, you also want to give the burghers a lot of land and a lot of influence. So actually I'm going to take the nobility privilege over here, supremacy over the crown, that gives 10% estates influence modifier for all the other estates as well. And then I'm going to go and give out a few very influential burgher privileges to them. And now most importantly actually is this privilege over here for promote burghers bookkeeping, because you can see it is based on their influence and loyalty actually, that they give you, you know, interest per annum, which will be very important to later take more loans. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So definitely you want to take this one, and then as well as, you know, summon the diet and make them loyal with, by the way, actually this one, burghers monopoly rights, because that gives them an additional 15 loyalty and 10 influence from this decision over here. And that makes the burghers to be at 100% influence and 70 loyalty, right, without unpausing the game even, right? And now you can also, of course, sell titles to them, which gives them another 10 loyalty. And now what that does is that this privilege over here actually gives almost the full interest per annum. You can see 0.4 interest per annum. And that means that now instead of 57 loans that I could take before, I can now take 62 loans. So 2 more loans that I would normally not be able to take, okay? And now is actually the important part, that you want to take these loans immediately. Because let me just show you what happens if you let the game run a little bit. So first of all, as I actually completed my burghers agenda, they got even more loyalty, and therefore I can now take up to 64 loans. But now let's see what happens after the month tick. So you see that 64 loans that I could take now went down to 50 loans, and that is because the game has now properly calculated the income and the possibilities and loan cap and so on of England, whereas in the right at the beginning, without a month tick, it actually overvalues your country's income. And that is why you should always take maximum amount of loans before the month tick. And that's why I'm going to take all maximum loans right now on the 30th of November. Okay, so now that this is done, actually you want to give out everything else that gives you money. Which means that, for example, over here, like monopolies over there, you can see they give you quite some money, as well as mercantilism, which is overtaken by your vassal. And of course they will, you know, not affect you as a vassal afterwards, so you can just give out every privilege that gives you money, such as these monopolies and everything else that you want to give out, because all of this estate stuff is not going to matter afterwards at all. As well as England, you can actually also do a parliamentary issue. Keep looking for stuff like the reform progress, for example, because that is overtaken. Or in my case, I'm going to take the stability, because that is also overtaken by your subjects. There we go. Now we have 1 stability, and we will have +1 stability as Wales later on as well. And also keep in mind that you don't need any other provinces theoretically, except, you know, your provinces. So you could actually exploit tax development in every single other province. And yeah, You know, you could argue that you get later, if you conquer that, also less tax money from that, but actually it would also cost you more to core. So I would actually say that it's probably worth it to get the money right away into your pocket rather than conquering it way later. And then you should also sell Maine in the case of England, so just to not get in a war or anything like that. But of course, this doesn't matter if you play any other nation. And now the only thing that you need to do before releasing is gather around a few admin points, which can be easily done by setting the focus to admin as well as, taking cheaper advisors, for example, just pay, up to 4 ducats or something on that. It doesn't really matter. You actually want to get that as fast as possible. So it is worth it to pay for an advisor over there. And if you have very cheap advisors, such as this one over here, it is also very worth it to pay a few ducats on the other advisors, because you can of course develop your future vessels' land with those points afterwards as well. But let's just wait until I have enough admin power, and then you can see what is the big trick in releasing and playing as a vassal properly. Also, you maybe want to get some allies actually, just in case France is actually willing to attack you, so that you have just a little bit protection for the little bit amount of time that you play as that nation, that overload nation. Okay, and there it is. I've got enough admin points saved up, and now you can also know for what I have enough admin points saved up. Because now that I have so many admin points, I can actually move my capital to a state such as Alençon, or a province over here such as Alençon, that has 90% autonomy, okay? Because I just destated and restated that province, right? It works with every single province in the game, right? Also, it has quite a low amount of death, but that doesn't really matter that much, right? But now what you can do is actually you can release another vassal, such as Northumberland over here, for example, and feed them all of the other provinces except your Welsh provinces, of course. And now that you've done that, you can actually move your capital to that 90% autonomy province. And it is actually very important that you do that on the same day right now, because otherwise that autonomy might go down to 50%, okay, as it's a half state, of course. So I'm just going to move my capital there, give my last remaining other province, London, also to Northumberland. I'm also just going to put my the rest of my points into development over here, just like that. And now you might think, why don't just go bankrupt or something? Doesn't that benefit you as well? No, it doesn't, because bankrupting that nation, actually going bankrupt, will set you to -3 stability, as well as it removes all your money out of the treasury, which you don't want. Because now what you can actually see is, as the only remaining province of England is this one with 90% autonomy, England basically has no crown land owned by themselves left, except Wales, of course. And now what happens is, if I release and play as Wales, you can see that I overtake literally almost every single ducat that was in the English treasury before. So now I'm actually a Wales just 2 years into the game with 11,000 ducats in the treasury, and of course an overlord that is now going to go bankrupt within the next few days. So you can see right now, there they are bankrupt, they are now at -3 stability, they have no army to defend themselves. Of course, I could have, broken the alliances over here, that would be smart as well. I just forgot about that. But this is basically how you overtake the entire Overlord's treasury into your own treasury. So I hope you enjoyed this little trick for this week, and as promised, if we reach 10,000 subscribers, I will actually upload a Roman Empire speedrun with a crazy tactic, and I promise you it will be also a very, very strong result. So if you want to see that, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to see, as always, on the next Monday.